back to the Gap update. I want to mention we sent Lieutenant Colonel Dale Waltman into retirement this past week after over 30 years of service to our nation and our Commonwealth. So we wished him well. One of the greatest pleasures I think he had in the end of his career was coming and assuming this community outreach job. So just in keeping with our commitment of being great partners with our neighbors, we'll continue on with Back to the Gap. I think our neighbors will be happy that for loud training, we only have 2 days scheduled this month. That is on the 13th and the 14th, we'll be doing demolitions training, and in fact, the demolitions they'll be using are light demolitions, so it will not be very noticeable to our neighbors. With that said, we will continue on with our busy flight schedule from our Army Aviation Training site, which is nested at the Gap. So there will be helicopters flying every day, and we fly friendly, so we avoid populated areas. Population of troops. This week we've got over 2,000 troops on the Fort Indian Town Gap. We're starting to get into the lull of our training towards the end of the federal fiscal year, which ends 30 September. But next week we'll pop back up to about 4,000, and that's probably the troop population density will continue on through August and most likely into September. With that said, we still have had over 121,000 troops that are trained on Fort Indian Town Gap. That's going to exceed last year, and that will continue us as the most heavily used National Guard installation in the United States, which is pretty impressive. Community notes, the pool, which has had a banner year, I think mainly because it has been hot. That is going to be closing on the 21st of August when most of the kids go back to school. The Route 443 bridge construction has finally gotten underway. They've installed, there's 2 bridges that are being replaced by PennDOT. They have 1 lane open with a temporary traffic signal, so we don't anticipate really any problems with that. Lastly, the final phase of our gate closures, which is in effect channelizing the access onto Fort Indian Town Gap to approximately 3 ways where we have traffic coming in and out, will occur on the 15th of August. Probably, like we've stated before, it will not be noticeable except to those who work on Fort Indian Town Gap. So the major roads, Fisher and Clement Avenue, are going to continue to be wide open for the foreseeable future. So pending any of your questions, that's all we have from the Gap. I know this goes out to the public through social media. We are very active in social media at Fort Indian Town Gap. If you utilize Facebook, go to the Fort Indian Town Gap page that has great updates on what is going on at the Gap, timely articles about our services that are open to the public, and we invite you to like our page and continue to get information on it.